This week on Random Reads, or today, I don't know how often this is coming out. It's pretty easy. It's a pretty easy thing. I'm just reading other people's books. Probably get shut down eventually. Who cares? I would have to be noticed to be shut down though, so that would be fine. I'm down with that. I don't know. Who gives a shit? I was doing a lot of older books. I'm just kind of grabbing a random amount. I didn't want to go into the library and grab books that I had read and liked, but I might end up doing that soon because, I don't know, there's some good ones, and there's some obscure ones that I really enjoyed that I just found randomly, and so maybe this would be a way for somebody. It's just you right now, but it might be a way for you to find something. But this week, we're doing, or day, whatever, I don't know. Maybe I'll put them out hourly. It's hard to say. Anyway, it's a lot of rambling. This week, William Golding, Lord of the Flies. Another classic. I got some Hunger Games, Susan Collins, author of the Hunger Games blurbs. Stephen King on the back. Yeah, it's good stuff, right? Classic. Never read it. Gonna check it out right now, randomly. Again, I have not come up with a randomness system. I always feel like I'm kind of ending up in the same place in the book, but the same place in one book is a completely different place in another book. Maybe that's what we should do, is just pick a number and start there. I don't know though, it feels like if we did that, and I'm saying we as in the royal we, as in me and all the voices in and on the outside of this meat pile. Anyway, if we just picked a random number, I feel like for a basic novel, you would end up at a certain point, unless it was an odd novel. Same with like a show, a TV show. If you picked like 5 minutes into a TV show, you would hit the same beat in most shows or movies or even magazines. You know, all this stuff, they're so formatted these days, and always, really, I mean, always? Is there a Wild West? I don't think so. I think there's always been kind of a format. Avant-garde stuff may have been like accepted better back in the day. I doubt it. I think that there's a self-equalization that goes on. Who cares? I don't care. I don't believe in golden ages. I don't believe in much of anything. I think, yeah, anyway, let's go ahead. We're going to get on to it. We're just randomly picking for right now. So, Lord of the Flies. Moved the lenses back and forth, this way and that, till a glossy white image of the declining sun lay on a piece of rotten wood. Almost at once a thin trickle of smoke rose up and made him cough. Jack knelt too and blew gently so that the smoke drifted away, thickening, and a tiny flame appeared. The flame, nearly invisible at first in that bright sunlight, enveloped a small twig, grew, was enriched with the color, and reached up to a branch which exploded with a sharp crack. The flame flapped higher, and the boys broke into a cheer. "My specs!" howled Piggy. "Give me my specs!" Ralph stood away from the pile and put the glasses into Piggy's groping hands. His voice subsided to a mutter. "Just blurs, that's all. Hardly see my hand." The boys were dancing. The pile was so rotten, and now so tinder dry, that whole limbs yielded passionately to the yellow flames that poured upwards and shook a great beard of flame 20 feet in the air. For yards around the fire, the heat was like a blow, and the breeze was a river of sparks. Trunks crumbled to white dust. Ralph shouted, "More wood! All of you get more wood!" Life became a race with the fire, and the boys scattered through the upper forest. To keep a clean flag of flame flying on the mountain was the immediate end, and no one looked further. Even the smallest boys, unless fruit claimed them, brought little pieces of wood and threw them in. The air moved a little faster and became a light wind, so that leeward and windward side were clearly differentiated. On one side the air was cool, but on the other the fire thrust out a savage arm of heat and crinkled hair on the instant. Boys who felt the evening wind on their damp faces paused to enjoy the freshness of it and then found they were exhausted. They flung themselves down in the shadows that lay among the shattered rocks. The beard of flame diminished quickly, then the pile fell inwards with a soft, cindery sound and sent a great tree of sparks upward that leaned away and drifted downwind. The boys lay panting like dogs. Ralph raised his head off his forearms. That was no good. Roger spat efficiently into the hot dust. What do you mean? There wasn't any smoke, only flame. Piggy had settled himself in a space between two rocks and sat with the conch on his knees. We haven't made a fire, he said. What's any use? We couldn't keep a fire like that going, not if we tried. A fat lot you tried, said Jack contemptuously. You just sat. We used a speck, said Simon, smearing a black cheek with his forearm. He helped that way. I got the conch, said Piggy indignantly. You let me speak. That was it. The conch doesn't count on top of the mountain, said Jack, so you shut up. I got the conch in my hand. Put on green branches, said Maurice. That's the best way to make smoke. I got the conch. Jack turned furiously. You shut up. Piggy wilted. Ralph took the conch from him and looked around the circle of boys. Cool. That's The Lord of the Flies. I've actually heard a lot about this book. Never read it. I don't think I will. That was a good little spot there. A little bit of dialogue, a little bit of this, but it was kind of like what I was talking about. It felt like that we were in the build, we're in the build up to the story, and I'm not really. That's the thing is, a lot of the movies and stuff that I watch or books that I read, I wish they would have started 45 minutes later in the movie. You know what I mean? So I just watched this movie recently. Okay, this wasn't recent. This was about a year ago, but this is a really good example of it. And it was about this. It was called Bat Country or something. I don't know. Anyway, it was about this woman and her boyfriend, and they go out to the woods on a camping trip, and the boyfriend ends up getting eaten by a bear, which happens about 45 or 50 minutes into the movie, which I would have rather it happen 10 minutes into the movie and then focus on, because she doesn't get eaten, she escapes. Focus on her escape and then focus on her, because the way that the movie ended, she just found some people and was saved, and that was credits roll. But there's something after that that's way more interesting than all the garbage that came before it. You know what I mean? Dealing with having having your boyfriend eaten in front of you. I think dealing with that is more interesting than it itself, is what I'm saying. So I feel like if Lord of the Flies started 60 or 70 pages in, as opposed to, and this is just a snap judgment, I don't know shit, it would probably be more likely that I'd read it. I'd like to hear what happens after. I don't know. It seemed alright. A little flowery, that's all. Lord of the Flies, William Golden, Random Reads.